Hey friends, welcome to the channel. Today we have the Olight Warrior Mini versus
the Olight Warrior M2R Pro.
let's kick it off.
Well, let's talk about the differences in these two and what we think each one of them is good for, and kind of which one each one of us likes the best. I'm more biased to the M2R Pro. I like a light that shines a little bit farther for my everyday carry. I don't do a whole lot close up. I kind of want to see further out than close up, and this is a little bit too close for me. But you?
Myself, personally, I think I prefer the Mini maybe just a little bit. Maybe I spend more time indoors, but I think it's just perfect. The size, I mean, this one isn't too big to fit in your pocket, but this one's a little more convenient, a little less aggressive on the bezel here. But I think very comparable, the two. Not too different when it comes to the light output. At its max, it's about 1800 lumens for the Warrior Pro and about 1500 at its max for the Warrior Mini.
I feel like in practice, though, those numbers might be a little skewed. I feel like this is a lot brighter than this. I also think that this copper version, which is mine, it's not as bright as Zach's, and it just doesn't work as well. So maybe my opinion is a little bit skewed on that, but I don't really care too much about size as far as this is perfectly acceptable for me to EDC. I EDC large knives, and I don't have a problem with it. I'm a big guy. They fit in my pocket just fine. And also, I've never had this one turn on in my pocket without the flashlight being locked out. This one I've had turn on in my pocket 2 or 3 times. It's never burnt my clothes or anything like that, but it has turned on several times. I think it's metal connecting down here or something, because I haven't pushed the button, but I think that being in your pocket with the button downward is a little bit different than the button outward. Just one difference.
Yeah, for me, I've never had an issue. Of course, I carry lens up. I've seen some people kind of rig it up themselves.
Flip the clip around.
Yeah, kind of do that. I feel, at first I was skeptical of going lens up. I'm always lens down. But I think it's perfectly fine the way I've carried it. I've never had it go off in my pocket. I don't put it in the lockout mode, but I've never had an issue with it. Although it does get hot, so if it does go off in your pocket, that could be an issue for you. But it hasn't been an issue for me.
Another main difference between these two also is the battery. The M2R Pro uses I think it's a 21700, and the Mini uses a 18650.
Yeah.
So for me, this flashlight, you know, if you're out one night, we do a lot of hunting at night, not deer or anything, but beavers. We have a big problem in our lake with beavers. So we're constantly out there shining and see if we can see something. They really mess the place up. And for me, the Mini, it just doesn't have the battery life. We were working on the Jeep the other day. I had mine, my brother had his, and at the end of the day, both of them were pretty much dead after, I'd say, I don't know, 2.5 hours they weren't on the max brightness, but they weren't on the lowest. But this right here, I don't have a problem at all with it, with its battery life. It'll last you all day, unless it's, you know, on turbo, then obviously you're gonna be losing some hours there.
Yeah, so I guess when it comes to, you want power, you want output, not concerned about size, the Warrior Pro is a great option. If you a little more concerned about size, if you want something a little smaller, easier to carry, not as much power, Warrior Mini I think both of those are great options.
It's very similar in size to the baton. It just doesn't have, the main difference would be there's no tail cap push on it. It's just the button up front. Other than that, they're pretty much identical. I mean, almost exactly.
Yeah, I'd say it's a great replacement for the baton. Just updated in every way that they've updated their Olights with the tail switch with the different modes on it, and then being chargeable, just magnetic and very convenient. Both of these with the magnetic tail switch, and very convenient.
And speaking of tail switch, both of these use pretty close to the same thing as far as the settings on the tail switch. If you push all the way in, it's turbo, and if you half press, I don't know exactly what the lumens are on each one, but it's not the minimum, but it's not the max. If you press them quick, they both turn on and stay on. If you push them in and hold them, it goes to momentary. Just in case someone's kind of curious about the specs on these things, this is 1800 lumens. This shines 300 meters. This is 1500 lumens. And this is, I believe, it's 190 meters. $5,000 milliamp hour battery, 3,500 milliamp hour battery. Other than that, I mean, they're pretty much the same flashlight, just smaller and less output. It doesn't go quite as far. I think there's a pretty big difference between these two when it comes to how far out they shine. Myself, some people say this would be like a tactical flashlight. I don't think it fits that role.
I never thought of it as a tactical flashlight. It's really, for me, it's an EDC, just very casual, I'd say. This one may be a little overkill on just EDC, maybe for me, where, you know, maybe if I'm out in the woods, if I'm going camping, great camping light. This one, I think, great just every day, inside, outside, in your car. You know, if you are closer to something, you know, you're not blinding yourself with the turbo. You can just go to the lower setting with the side switch. Same thing really with this one. It just comes to a matter of, you know, how much room do you have in your pockets. If you got room for it, I'd say go for the full size, go for the Pro. But otherwise, I mean, I think the Mini is also great for, like I said, casual, just every day.
Another thing to note too is that this was a special for the Black Friday sale. So it's full copper, and I mean, if you're going to carry this, I don't know exactly what the specs are as far as weight goes between these, but I would say that these weigh almost the same here, and this is probably half the weight of this. It's a chunk. And this one's aluminum, that's copper, and this one's titanium. And there's really not much of a difference between the aluminum and titanium, but this copper is a chunk. So maybe that's skewing my perception.
Maybe.
This isn't mine, this is my brother's. So that being so heavy in my pocket, you know, if I was gonna pick up one or the other, it's not that much bigger, so it doesn't make that much of a difference to me, but it is just as heavy. So maybe if I had that's a lot lighter.
Yeah.
If I had something like this, maybe I would switch my thought process around on that. But for me, this takes the cake.
Yeah, and overall between the two, I love them both. You can't go wrong with either one. I mean, I thought this seriously, when I got it, best flashlight. I don't think you could get any better. But when it comes to just being used every day, this one's a little more convenient, a little easier to carry around for me. But both great lights.
And I think that probably wraps this video up. But new to this, obviously, not the best at talking to the camera right now, but we're going to be doing reviews on a lot of different flashlights, a lot of different knives, a lot of different gear, pretty much anything to do with outdoors. And just stay tuned.